Reddit. What secret are you taking to the grave? NSFW. Story number 1. I worked for a shipping company at a customer desk. A guy I had known came in to ship a package. He was a known drug dealer in my town. He didn't recognize me though. The package was wrapped in duct tape. I took the package, brought it back, and made it disappear into my backpack. After my shift, I opened the package and found $37,890 in cash. I never went back to the job, never heard anything about it. I left Texas a month later with cash in hand. No country for old mailman. Story 2. I was giving my cat a belly rub and it jizzed all over my hand. Wow, you must give really good belly rubs. Story 3. All my friends think they watched me lose my virginity on my front lawn one fateful summer night when I was 13. We were actually just pretending to have sex in order to fuck with my friends. We were both too scared to actually do it. I've never corrected them. Story 4. I was in kindergarten, probably 5 years old, and during nap time I asked the girl to show me her penis. Don't leave us hanging, did she? Story 5. My dad's a National Socialist, and he regularly goes to meetings. I was raised in German folklore and the idea that I'm superior to others because I'm of German descent. I have plenty of Jewish and Slavish friends. I just tell them my dad died when I was younger. TLDR, my dad's a Nazi. Story 6. Uncle tragically passed away last year. Never married, no kids. Treated his 10 nieces and nephews like we could do no wrong. I also found out he was probably gay and I don't think he was out to my family, or at least to most of us. No one would have had a problem with it. But it's hard to come out when my grandma just wants to set her youngest, who would have turned 50 in May, baby up with all the ladies, you know? She's persistent but means well. Is also a tad oblivious at times, but she's in her 80s. Anyway, after he passed, my dad and I were in charge of finding files for the book he was supposedly writing about our family. We wanted to finish the book and publish it in his name. My dad was having no luck finding files in his HD though, so I took a stab at it. Dad isn't the best at computers. I found dating site photos he had taken, shirtless mirror pics, and photos of guys I assume he was talking to. And in my opinion, he could have done better. You're the best uncle and only deserve the best. Also saw his history when I was looking through his browsers and bookmarks to get his emails and accounts. I forget if I deleted it yet. If I haven't, I will. I figured the search history was confirmation enough for me. Edit. Probably won't tell my cousin or sister after all. As I said, I assume the cousin knew. They were very close and talked frequently. And even if she doesn't matter. Won't change anything bad or good either way. And it's not my place to say anything. Thank you for your advice on that, folks. Miss you, Yubi. Story 7. I'm an out lesbian, but a few weeks ago I had sex with a male friend of mine. He's gay. We both got drunk and curious and had never gone with the opposite sex. Edit. We both actually kind of enjoyed it. And for those wondering, I am not a butch. I'm a femme. We had made out a few times before drunk, then we sort of got curious and decided to go for it. And we both have expressed interest in trying it again. The reason why I would take this to the grave is, as some people have pointed out, there's so much baggage involved in identifying as a bisexual woman, especially when I have been out as lesbian for most of my adult life. Coming out was the hardest thing I have ever done, and I'm ashamed to admit I was one of those lesbians who hated bisexual women as being fence-sitters, etc. And I worry that if people know that my friend and I slept together, it would just reinforce stereotypes about gay men and women just needing to find the right member of the opposite sex to set them straight. We are both single. I honestly don't know what to think. My friend is the first dude I have ever been attracted to, and I think I'm the first woman he's been sexually attracted to as well. So as much as we want to explore it, we're both a bit weirded out by it. Story 8. In 10th grade, my dad made a deal with me. If I got an average of 88%, he'd buy me a new laptop. Well, the marks came in and I only got something like an 84 to 85% average. Well, fuck that, I want my laptop. So I went online to the regional school board's website and downloaded a PDF template of the report card. Don't know why they would have this available. Used a PDF editor to fill in the blanks and voila, got a brand new laptop. No regrets. P.S. After I did this, I started selling customized fake report cards for $50 each. Story 9. I went to counseling for abuse after my parents divorced, and I was never abused, so they put me in the regular room with all the people there who were waiting for their siblings. I claimed my father abused me so I could go to the special room with all the abused kids. It was horrible. I had no right being in that room with all those people. They all were really messed up from what their parents had done to them, and I just got in so I could play Yu-Gi-Oh! Edit. I was probably 7 or 8, and from what I know, my father did not get in trouble. I see him every week. I didn't know what I was doing back then. This sounds like something Cartman would do. Story 10. When we were kids, a female cousin and I played doctor around the age of 6 or 7. Talked about it a few years ago around the age of 25, became deeply intimate, and have had really incredible sex several times over the last few years. She recently got married and we have since ended our relationship. We are both normal, successful, contributing citizens. You'd never know. Hopefully no one finds out. But I miss her and our level of intimacy. Story 11. When my brother committed suicide, I was walking into his house to go hang out, and I never knocked because we're best friends. So his house is my house, and my house is his house. Anyway, I walked in, got some food from the kitchen, and figured he might have a girl over because usually he'll hear me and say what's up from across the house, so I didn't bother him. I'd been in his house eating for about 10 minutes when I hear the gunshot that killed him. When anyone asks, I tell them I found him like that. I don't think I'll be able to ever tell anyone. I know that if I would have just knocked or walked down the hall, I might have saved his life. Edit. To give an insight on any reasoning for what my brother did, whether it be financial issues, relationship troubles, or what have you, I'll give you the last line of the short note he wrote before he died. It reads, "So I am truly sorry if you think I'm being selfish when I've been selfless my entire life, and it has left me with nothing. Rest in peace, brother. I miss you." Story 12. Me and my wife were going through tough times. I just got back from Afghanistan. I played Russian roulette with my 357 Magnum, reloaded. I lost. Getting a divorce now and alive. Story 13. When my cousin died a few years ago, my family went over to his house to look around for a sense of closure. I ducked away for a bit and noticed his computer was still on. On his desktop was his porn folder. I deleted it before my aunt and uncle saw it. Story 14. Might as well get this off my chest. Without going into great detail, purposely vague, more than 5 years ago, I was a part of a group of 3 to 5 people that would successfully take the MCAT in place of others for a fee. We were all adept at taking the exam. Our clients were old money types, with kids who could not make the cut, or didn't want to try. The fee was $100,000 plus any other extra charges. Fake fingerprints, IDs, prosthetics, you name it, and we did it. I had no qualms doing this, as my reasoning was, if they can't pass the exam, how in the fuck would they get through med school plus steps? Take their money and let them fail out of med. No problems, until one of the clients actually managed to get through school and had racked up some malpractice. Thankfully nothing too serious. It hit me hard to the point of attempted suicide. I quit, and went to therapy and the group disbanded, for other reasons, shortly thereafter. I'm doing much better now, but this info is staying with me from people that I know, and staying with you, random reader. This should be a movie. Story 15. It's nothing big. It's actually something really small and innocent, and I've just decided to tell no one in real life. When I was 5 years old, a friend at primary school, whose name is Jay, told me he liked a girl called A, and asked me never to tell anyone. Never have, and I never will. Almost 30 years and I haven't told anyone. Over the years, I've thought about saying something to someone about it, but I've never been able to bring myself to do it. Just something about the innocence of that promise, I guess. He wouldn't even care now. But 5-year-old Jay would, and I don't want to break my promise to him. You're a legend, man. Never let 5-year-old Jay down. Story 16. When I was a teenager, I was playing in a duo with a saxophonist. I played guitar on a cruise ship. The gig paid $200 each, and they gave me a check that I could cash and distribute to the saxophonist, who was also a really good friend. For a few weeks after the gig, I forgot about giving him the money, and he totally forgot as well. One day, I noticed the money in an envelope on my desk and wondered how long it would take him to remember and ask me about it. He never did. I still have the money. He's still my friend, and I've never done anything like that since, but I can't bring it up now, and probably won't. It was the actions of a greedy asshole past version of myself that I don't want to drag up at this point. Edit. I just want to add this for clarification. To all the people saying he knows and just doesn't know how to bring it up, he doesn't. He's a very forgetful person, and is also very direct. We're not just casual friends where he'd be afraid that we would stop seeing each other over money. We've known each other since middle school, and are incredibly close, so I guarantee you that he does not know. He wouldn't be afraid of asking if I did. Also, to the people saying that I'm still a greedy asshole for not giving it to him, I can see where you're coming from. However, the issue is a bit more complicated than that. This friend struggles with depression, paranoia, trust issues, etc. This is the only time I've done something like this. On countless occasions, I've comforted him at his worst. To drudge up the past this way might lead him to freak out. He would question if there were any other incidents in his head, he would fixate on it, and I don't want it to lead to depression. Edit 2. Fuck it, you've convinced me, Reddit. I'm meeting this guy later on today. I'll give him the money then with an extra $75. I'll update you in a few hours. Edit 3. Our plans for a late lunch got delayed until dinner. I'll update you tonight around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Edit 4. Well, that's probably the last time I take advice from Reddit. I'll give you the version that everybody probably hoped to hear, and I'll give you what actually happened. Also, since I got some time to kill, I'll present it blow by blow, instead of a brief summary. Ideal scenario. He and I are at the local pub, having beer and burgers when I make the confession. I decide to man up and give it to him honestly. He informs me that he had totally forgotten about the money and even the gig, but that he's glad I returned it with a large interest, that he forgave me. He then peels off $50 and bought drinks for everybody in the bar. We exchanged a bro hug, and we ride off in the sunset like the best of buddies in our vintage Cadillacs. Actual scenario. He and I were at the local pub, having beer and burgers when I made the confession. I decided to man up and give it to him honestly. Let's call him Harold for the sake of the story. Perhaps my first mistake was giving him the money and my sincere apologies after several too many drinks. We were far away from blackout drunk, but we weren't our normal, everyday selves. The first thing I did was take an envelope with $275 in it out of my jacket pocket and gave it to him wordlessly. He stared at me, bemused. "What's this?" "Open it," I said. He opened the envelope and took out the money, mostly in his 20s. He looked at me again, grinning, saying, "What did I do to deserve this?" I took a deep breath and told him everything. How I forgot about the money and wasn't reminded by him until I discovered it a few months later and never gave it to him. While I was explaining what had happened, his eyes went darker and darker with a sudden influx of emotion, until his previously smiling face looked shocked and angry at the same time. When I finished, he didn't say anything. He turned back to his beer and drank. "Well?" I asked, after almost a minute of silence. "Well, what?" he said. I didn't really know what to say at that point. I managed, "What do you think about the situation?" I asked a few questions about how he felt since such subjects should be approached delicately with him. "I don't know what to think," he said. I'm really sorry about all this. I don't know what I was thinking. If there's something I can do to make it up, just say the word." These types of exchanges went on for another minute, me prying and pleading to get at what he was thinking about and how I could aptly respond, and him giving short, brusque answers while brooding over his beer. Finally, something in him snapped. He told me, "It's not about the goddamn money. I don't care about the money. What I do care about is you being so deceitful. That I can take, because it means that you could have done countless things like this. This was a solitary incident. And as I said, I don't know what the hell I was thinking," I responded, trying to de-escalate the situation. Didn't work. "How the hell am I supposed to know that? Your word? I can't really believe your word anymore." "You can trust me, man," I said. "You always could." Emphasis on could, he responded. "That's what hurts, because you were always a person I could trust. Now I don't even know if I can do that. I don't know anything. I'm fucking confused about this shit." I put my hand on his shoulder and started to try to calm him down by talking about our history together, etc. But as soon as my hand hit his shoulder, he shrugged it off. His voice started to slur at this point. "You know what? Fuck you. And your money. Gotta go home." He stood up, shoved the envelope back to me, and walked out. Stood up a few minutes later and rode off into the sunset. No one by my side, in a used 2010 Kia Soul. I chalk his violent reaction up to a mixture of booze, his past issues, and the heat of the moment. I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow and try to discuss this in a less heated manner. And if this is my punishment for believing a bunch of internet strangers knew my friend better than I did, so be it. Story 17. In 2013, I traveled to Washington, D.C. for a business conference. My company was kind enough to put me and a coworker up in a very nice hotel, who had been killing it that year and deserved it. At day's end, we went down to the bar just to see what was going on and relax. There was a woman in the corner getting a fair bit of attention from people. They were all dressed up, tuxes and gowns. This was early though, like 6 p.m. They started shuffling off in small groups until she was alone. She then approached me and my friend didn't say a word and left a note on the bar. "Room XXX, knock at 2 a.m., not before, not after." It was like something out of a movie, which is all the more amusing because of what I'll reveal shortly. She never actually spoke to either one of us, and she didn't hand the note to either one of us. She put it down, between us, in full view of both of us. Did she mean for us both to show up? We spent the next few hours reasoning through things, and we determined that the invitation was for us both, which my friend was weirded out by. We're presuming sex. But side-by-side office urinal visits are awkward enough. Now I'm going to bang side-by-side with my coworker? I was game, but acted a little more apprehensive than was the case. He finally agreed. The hour rolled around, we met at the elevator, traveled to her floor, then knocked. She answered wearing the same fancy dress. No shoes, hair down. She immediately launched into this speech about how nothing that is about to happen can ever leave this room. My buddy looked like he was about to bolt. I just assumed we were going to take turns fucking her brains out. And so it started. Clothes came off, we're doing things. Looks and feels good to me. But then she invited us into the bathroom and told us to bring a phone. Huh? I asked for clarity, but none was given. But I found my pants and fished it out of my pocket. She knelt down in the bathtub and told me to start recording a video. Okay. Then she proceeded with this. My name is Jane Doe. I'm in the movies X, Y, and Z. I love serving cock. I love piss in my mouth and cum on my face. She then asked us to pee all over her while recording. My head was swimming. I had a big old boner and couldn't pee on command for her. Plus, I'm trying to process her saying she was in movies, like in them as an actress. Tell me you're going to blackmail me. She made us say it over and over. Tell me you're going to blackmail me unless I do exactly what you say. Tell me you own me forever with this video. Threaten to show someone. She got fucking off on that. We stayed total for another 30 to 40 minutes. Fucked some more. Did end up pissing on her after she made us come. And she was thirsty for it. All in all, it was the wildest sexual experience of my life. So, we're all done. Give me your phone, she says. I oblige. She deleted the videos after some fumbling and figuring out how, handed me my phone back, then she opened a drawer and counted off $500 for each of us. Not a word. Ever. I didn't recognize her in the bar, and wouldn't even have if I knew her name or that she was a movie star. I just don't follow Hollywood that closely. But yeah, she's relatively famous, like nominated for an Academy Award and stuff. Not A-list, but celebrity enough to wow us after the fact. My friend and I no longer work together. He took a job somewhere else. But as a running gag, we'll still find new press photos of her online and email them back and forth. No subject line, no words. I smile and laugh every time one comes through. I doubt many will believe this story, but it happened. Still makes me think, holy shit, when I recall it. I expect to live the rest of my life and not have a more exciting event happen to me. My only regret is that one of us didn't keep the note from the bar. Not that it would have proved anything, just a memento. It was Tom Cruise, wasn't it? Story 18. My girlfriend has homicidal thoughts and a history of mental health issues. She's sat me down and told me on numerous occasions that she has these strong urges to kill people. It scares the hell out of her, but I always tell her I won't let that happen. I plan on asking her to marry me soon. Edit. So from what I'm reading, it sounds like she most likely has OCD or has obsessive personality disorder. She doesn't have any history of violence and the urges are few and far between. They usually stem from sadness rather than anger. Her life would admittedly be better without certain people who are poison to her. I think it's her brain trying to assert control over situations where she has none. Because of her probable condition, she'd be the last person to actually act on those feelings. Also, I'd like to thank everyone for proving to me why I should take the secret to my grave. I'll be at your funeral.